Well, Antoine, thank you very much. And exactly, please join us at the table because we will talk about your presentation further on. Together with Wouter Ruig-Rok, he's subject matter expert quality improvement and co-writer of the Society book Quality for DevOps Teams. Wouter, please join us on stage. And Jeroen Egelmeers, also from Society. He is a full-stack developer and pioneer in the use of generative AI and in particular prompt engineering. Yes, give them a big hand. Yes, well, again, man, where are the ladies? Here, I'm the only one. I hope there are also ladies here in the venue who can ask very clever and intelligent questions. Will do? Maybe, because I need your help a little bit on this topic, because this really dives into your field of quality engineering and testing. But before we really dive into it, I have a general question first for you, Antoine, because you're talking about generative AI and how you can use it in this field, but more in general, because when I was preparing myself, I was reading about, generative AI is the game changer of the moment and of the future. It's bigger than the introduction of our mobile phone. It's even bigger than the development of internet. So do you agree? Are we now in the moment of a real big change?
Absolutely. This is exactly where we are. For some companies, it's a survival game. There's so much benefit we can derive from this that is absolutely amazing. At the same time, I think this is, for me, extremely important, is there are unknowns. Okay? We don't know the actual full applications of this system, but the velocity, the efficiency, the effectiveness we can get from this system is absolutely amazing, but we need to do things right. And the first way to do things right is not just use it as a playground. We have to be problem-centric. What are we trying to address? What are we trying to resolve? And then these systems becomes much more valuable because we can derive true value out of it.
And what do you mean with a playground or taking it more serious?
Well, playground is, write a poem or write me test cases just out of the blue like that, just to try it.
Or write my thesis, my academic thesis.
Exactly. And or, write test cases, write me my test strategy, write you anything, right? This is what I call playing, And I think 6 months down the line, we've been playing, Everybody had fun with it. Anybody, right? Anybody. But now
So you think that the stage of playing, that's done now?
It should be over, absolutely. We need to make sure that it solves concrete problems, right? And this is where, as well, we have to be cautious. The more we use it for playground, the less sustainable we are as well. And that we don't realize it because everything is simple, like sending an email, right? So now, again, it's how do we make sure that we are focusing on problems that we have to solve, focused on quality output consistently, right? And this is actually hard to move away from I'm playing with it towards, tangible value, like any other tools are building.
But playing is also it's more like innocent, right? If you play with it, you don't really oversee the consequences. Do you think we are already on that stage that we can, if we take it more seriously, can we oversee the consequences already?
We can. There are a lot of unknowns. Again, I've been sharing it. We are going to discover there's how do we include domain expertise into it? How do we include prompt engineering into it? How do we mix the two together? We learn along the way. No one has cracked exactly how our industry will look like in 2 years from now. I don't believe that now.
So it's learning on the job.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, let's also, before I come to you, my dear gentlemen, to you, our audience, because we also want to know, have you used generative AI already in your work? So please grab your phone and tell us. Maybe your answer is no, not yet. Maybe you're experimenting it on a more personal level, like the playground Antoine is mentioned already. Maybe you are experimenting in the job or already embedded it in the work, or maybe you already have proven results. That would be very nice to share with us as well, if that's your answer. So let's see what the outcome will be. Maybe it's also nice, because Wouter, you're the subject matter expert quality improvement. if you look at the results, then we see that a lot of people they're not working with generative AI yet. We see a lot are experimenting with it, experimenting on the job, 6 embedded in the work. Oh, maybe that's also nice, 1 proven result. Is that person maybe, are you willing to share with us what the results are? Do you want to? Where are you, maybe? Nowhere? Oh, that's very funny. I mean, that person is always gone, you know.
And can I have
maybe
coffee
in the other
with
room?
that person? I need to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. If you want to stay, you know, anonymous, please have coffee with Antoine. But Wouter, if you look at these results, what can you respond on it? Are you surprised? Do you think that's the stage where we are now?
Yeah, I do recognize the outcome. I see. Of course, that's also a bit the bubble I am in. Maybe you're looking for people working with Gen AI. So I see maybe slightly more people already really using it on a daily basis, using it as a extra team member to ask questions to, or to help them to create a first script or something like that. So I really see people already using it in their day-to-day practice. But it's still a bit what Antoine also mentioned in the play area. So we're trying it out, we're experimenting with it, we're exploring what the capabilities are, and using it with a focused goal, or using it on a larger scale. Yeah, that's still to discover and to be developed as well. Yeah.
But do you think there is an opportunity or a chance that generative AI will take over the professionals?
No, I don't think so. And we have a saying, and it's being used quite often, that AI will not replace you, but people who use AI will replace you. So I think that's also one of the arguments why we should really get familiar with the technology and learn ourselves how it works and how you can use it. Because if you're not going to use it, then people that do will maybe take over your job or be more efficient in what they do.
Yeah.
As Antoine mentioned in his presentation as well, it's not a tool that has all the knowledge, but it's a tool that can augment your own capacities and your own capabilities. So you have to ask the right questions to get useful output.
Yeah, and asking the right question, that's also one of your expertise, right, Jeroen? Because that's about prompt engineering. That's what I learned in my preparations. And you're also one of the first trainers in this field of prompt engineering. And you give a demonstration in the Quality Experience Center as well about this training?
Yeah, I'm there as well, of course, to answer questions, but also presenting here at QXA today.
Yeah, so prompt engineering is very important. Antoine, you gave us a perfect example. I thought it was quite complicated, what I saw. But asking the right questions or giving the right comment, that's the crucial part, right? If you talk about generative AI.
I think that playing around with it, what is said here, is something we can all do. And definitely, what Wout was just mentioning, that what I see when going to companies to present about prompt engineering, they mostly say like, I didn't experiment with it yet because it's blocked by my company or something. And I think
Italy blocked it, right? Italy, you can't use OpenAI in Italy?
I'm not sure.
Oh, it's over now. They can use it.
Oh, it's over. Okay, yeah.
But I think there are a lot of restrictions within companies just to make sure about data and that you're not sharing any confidential data, or maybe even have a GDPR in mind. Those kind of considerations are companies taking right now, and that's the reason that they are mostly blocking things like ChatGPT or those kind of things. But it's also blocking you from experience and learning how to prompt. And I think it took me a while to really get to the right results. And I think Antoine mentioned that here really well. You will not get to 1,300 words just in a day or something, in a few hours. Mm-hmm. So it takes really some practice and understanding about how to work with those models before you can really...
But I can imagine that it is a serious... worry or a serious complaint, because Antoine, if you want to experiment with the generative AI in your field, isn't it true that in a way you give access to also your professional business data, and that you actually open the space, there are no boundaries anymore, so that we can't really oversee what it means?
I think first we have to do it in a safe way. That's again going back to the trust. And don't expose anything. This is why using it in a public environment, again, a lot of people have actually not tried yet. Be very cautious into what you're actually sharing. Now the T's and C's and the securities of those systems have been better over time, but you have to be extremely cautious. Be extremely paranoid about the kind of data you're sharing. And the second aspect is, again, be problem-centric. What are you trying to solve? What can you make better in your life? It could be, just assessing your environment. So, I spend too much time on building reports. I spend too much time on this, on that, on that. And this is actually the way you should actually be really narrowing the work, narrowing the experimentation, not just playing and say, okay, I invent an issue and then I play with it. It has to be extremely concrete. But to start with it, again, this is very important to understand. People understand how to code. They are learning it. Same goes for a prompt. And it sounds a little bit weird because this is human language. We know we master it. But it's in between. We need an ambassador to actually tell us this is how you should talk to the machine in a consistent way to get what you want out of it. Mm-hmm. And again, this is the combination of the artistry of language that we have, but the structure of code, which I was sharing earlier. This is why knowing how to ask the right question takes time.
And do we also need new skills, new education? Are the current professionals, are they educated well enough? Wouter?
Well, for example, Antoine mentioned the low prompting, no prompting, but you still, also as a quality engineer, you need to know the concept of prompting and how it works. So that's a new skill that we have to learn.
And how can you learn it? I mean, is it just learning by doing, or can you go to a special school, or how do you learn it?
Go to Jeroen.
go to Jeroen.
Actually, I'm visiting already quite some companies to share knowledge about it and to train them on prompt engineering, or at least how to work with those models.
How to communicate with the machine.
Yeah, definitely. And I also think it's still, after getting this knowledge, you still have to experience yourself, right? You can go to a school and learn coding or testing, but learning it on a job is actually also very valuable, and you will even learn more, I think, on the way.
Well, you look like a nice guy to me, but you're able to communicate with the machine.
I was already with code, but...
Okay, but you're the professional, right? Because I'm thinking about Ex Machina, the film. That's also... You know what I'm talking about? The film, Ex Machina?
I don't know him.
No?
Yeah.
Who knows the film Ex Machina? Oh, so less people. You really, really have to see this. It's incredible. It's about an AI woman, actually. Yes. She's a robot, right? Yes. And she is seducing in a way she's seducing the pupil, the trainee.
And then she runs away.
And then she runs away, and she's even... Oh no, I'm not going to, because this is a disclaimer. Because she can do something. Well, you have to see. This is absolutely a great film. But then you see that the Ex Machina, the robot, is really... I mean, she's acting like a human. But you are saying we have to adapt our language to the machine. So the machine is not adapting to us. We have to adapt to the machine.
I think the models are learning really fast. What you see in previous models, and if you're looking at now, you see already a big difference there. But people still have the imagination of something that you can just write something to it and it will get the output. But there is, in quality levels, a big difference, and that is really where it's all about.
And one of the points I'm really trying to make as well. So let's assume that a use case is I need a glass of water. Okay, so this is not going to be just one ask, one prompt. We have to divide it in multiple prompts to get no deviation from the output. So first use case. I will take my hands like that, grab the water, grab the glass, put here, pour the water. And these actually are going to be multiple steps, even in our activity, that we have to divide, and each one of them will actually be one prompt. Because if we do it large as just one prompt, the quality again is not going to be high.
Okay, so
and this is the complexity also of prompt crafting. It's not just how to talk to the machine, but you have to have all this micro interaction that you have as a prompt that makes it even tougher.
So you have to divide it in all those small steps to get a good outcome or a quality outcome.
Consistent quality output.
A consistent quality outcome. But how do we still know that the outcome is true? Because
that's for one where the expertise of quality engineers comes in, so that they know what type of output they are expecting and is a good outcome. But that's also one of the other reasons why you want these small steps, so that it's traceable and that you can also see along the way where, what are the steps being taken and what are the mind steps also there. So making it transparent and traceable is also part of validating the outcome.
Yeah, because how do you validate the outcome? How do you qualify the outcome?
That's a difficult thing to do, because that's really where that's still a human activity. Yeah? We have to do that as humans, and also in the co-pilot which Antoine showed. That's also something that we are trying to build in, that you can see that it is validated. But in the end, that's where the expertise of the professional comes in to know, okay, is this a useful and a good outcome? So that's another argument why AI is not really going to replace us, because it can generate all sorts of things, but you still have to check, is it correct, or is it generating now invalid things?
Yeah, so that critical evaluation or that critical point of view is always needed, and that only can be done by humans?
At this point, yes.
For now, yes.
For now.
Testability of prompts, verifying this is a reasoning thing. And reasoning thing, for now, still with us, thankfully.
Well, I can imagine that there are also some questions from you, from the audience. Does anyone has a question or a concern, or maybe the two persons who are there's already over there. Where is our catch box? Oh, great! Can you just throw it? See how it works. You know it. If you don't use it, you will lose it. So, hopsakee. Well, good catch and a good throw. Yeah. So tell us who you are, please. It's working.
Good afternoon, Shen and Elsia. Thank you for your time. I'm concerned with the speed at which the three gentlemen in the panel are rushing towards prompting and teaching people about prompting. And my concern comes from, do you understand the underlying system? I mean, are you guys also teaching, and it is an assumption that I make, are you also teaching people about how the machine works? Because, you know, the lady on the right asks immediately, can you talk to the machine? But are you also teaching people how the machine works, like vectors, Markov distribution, the compression of intelligence, etc.? Are you letting people know how the machine thinks? And
okay, so not only how you can use the machine, but also how the machine works itself.
If you know how the machine thinks, then you also know how to talk to it.
Why is it important?
Well, you have to be able to understand what you're working with in order to communicate with that thing. And that's really important. And I'm wondering why we're all rushing towards the prompting, the cool stuff, and we're not taking some time to educate people about the back end. Okay. Maybe I'm wrong.
Okay, great. Yes, who want to answer this question? Jeroen?
I can. Of course, it depends a bit on which model we are talking about, but let's take ChatGPT, for example. Their OpenAI did actually make some very nice videos about how this model under the hood is working. And based on that, you can also act how you have to prompt. So for example, if we're talking about OpenAI, I'm going to give you a small example. What ChatGPT does is just predicting its next character. But the problem there is that if you're only keeping the previous character in mind, then that will, on the end, maybe bring up words that don't exist. So what they did at OpenAI, they actually made parts of each word that can be reused and which is common in our language, and that is placed after each other to make real sentences. And that is how this model-based part is, but it's really important to understand, even if you're prompting, that it is still prediction-based. So that means that whatever it does, it's not 100% truth. So that's also why you have to validate it, and I think it's really the key message here as well, that if I'm just prompting, I don't have the knowledge of an expert from testing here, for example, so I need that domain knowledge to actually come up with something that we can use as prompts.
Is that, I mean, yeah? It's still working?
Yeah. Thank you very much for that, Jeroen. That's exactly what I'm asking. So are you also explaining to people how the vectors are created? That's what you're talking about here, are the vectors, is that the words that mean things and how they're connected to one another and how that predictive mark of probability gets explained. Do you also explain this to the people, that, like the companies you go to, do you first give them an insight into what you said about the film?
Yeah. But I have a question for you as well, because I'm just curious, why, because I already asked you, but why is it so important to know this? Because knowledge is power, or?
Yeah, because, well, the reason it's important is we need to simplify this. We need to make it a lot less scary. There's a lot of fear-mongering in the AI world. Jobs are going to get lost, all the rest of it. Nothing's been lost in innovation ever. Where fire came, we all got more jobs. Water was freely available, we all got more jobs. Internet came, we all got more jobs.
Okay. So you think that if we really know how it works, we are less fear. We don't have. Okay, okay. Well, that's maybe a good point. Should it work, Wouter?
Well, I also want to respond to the question, the first question, because I think it's good that, of course, we should know the impact and also the boundaries of the technology, but I don't think that everyone who will use it needs to know the in depth really how it works, because for one, that is not feasible. Not everyone can learn it, I think, and it's also not necessary. A lot of, if we look for testing, a lot of people who are testing systems don't know exactly how it works, but that also gives you another point of view on the quality and the output. So sometimes it's maybe even better to not know how it works exactly, because then you are biased as well. So we need a mixture. We need people who understand the technology and what it does, but we also need people who don't understand it into detail and mainly look at the outcome and the effect of it.
Okay, let's also take a look at the time, because there's time for one question more. Who has a question as well? Because I saw different hands, right? No? No questions? Yes, over there. Oh, that's nice. That's a lady. Yes. Okay, just throw it. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, great.
Hi, I'm Nikki. I work at Topicus. And I was wondering, I really see the potential in how we can possibly use AI, but I was wondering if we have to always validate afterwards, and prompting is a lot of work and we have to really be concrete. How is it then faster?
Yeah, how does it help?
How does it help if I always have to validate and make a lot of prompts?
Yeah, is it of any help actually? Because if I see
it probably
this,
is, but
I think you get more work. Yeah, so Antoine, maybe. Wouter, John.
I think this is a very nice story, and I actually don't know the use case, but I think it's really depending on your use case. So what Antoine was mentioning is, of course, a very broad thing. So then you need much more information. But if you want to brainstorm, for example, you can get a lot of information from those tools with some simple prompts already. And I went to a company in the Netherlands 2 weeks ago, on Monday and on Thursday. And on Thursday, some people from the session on Monday came actually to me to tell me that they did in one day what they normally did in 3 days, just by some simple prompting. So it can already speed up, but it really depends on your use case, where you're going to use it for.
Yeah. Okay, so this is about efficiency, but then maybe this is the last question for you, Antoine, because this is about efficiency and getting more work done in less hours. But does it really is it really improving? Does it really bring quality?
I think we are in the middle of experimenting that. So this question, is like, what makes me don't sleep at night, but I don't know yet. I think we do not know yet, and we need again to have the humility of experimenting. So we'll see. I get a lot of questions. How much velocity does it bring? How can it get me faster in my job? So case by case, it depends on the context. We'll see. So we are all learning. What we're doing is new as well. So let's see. As I think Wouter nailed it pretty well. We are not going to be replaced by AI, but by humans that are using that. So let's use it appropriately and experiment, as with deep sea exploration. Let's go to the abyss of generative AI.
Well, let's see what the future will bring us, and hopefully it also brings us to a more sustainable world, because that's also the topic of today. Well, thank you very much. Give them a big hand, Antoine Amer, Wouter Ruigrok, and Jeroen Egelmeer. Thank you very much.